Hello there. The oblivion-facing Tory parliamentary party is now turning in on itself, and they're not even trying to hide it. Now, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and then like and comment below. Just a few weeks ago, both Boris Johnson and Liz Truss were firmly against more onshore wind. And neither wanted the 2015 ban placed on new onshore wind to be lifted, presumably because of certain NIMBY factors within their backbenches. But now Boris and Liz are suddenly all for onshore wind, and they've signed an amendment to the government's Levelling Up and Regeneration Bill that would lift the ban if it gets through. But why the change of heart? Climate? UK energy security? Or politics? Silly question, really. It's all about destabilising Rishi Sunak. Maybe they're working on the back of the recent and successful backbench rebellion over the 300,000 house building target, hoping to help oust Sunak before the next general election. But why bother? The Tories have got 2 torrid years left in office, and nothing anyone does will save that party from a total electoral wipeout. And as things look right now, the only thing that can stop a Labour Party landslide into Downing Street is the Labour Party itself. So I ask again, why bother? And it's not like Boris himself will survive the next election anyway, and he might still be booted out over Partygate. With every day that passes, more evidence of the complete collapse of the Tory parliamentary party emerges. Has anyone now got the slightest idea of where the Tories are trying to take the country, except down a slope of gradual decline? Can anyone articulate what the Rishi Sunak plan is? Apart, that is, from shutting the country and its economic activity down in an attempt to tame inflation. It looks more like someone putting their affairs in order before their demise, when it should be about creating a vibrant and successful sovereign nation. And now we have Keir knee-bender Starmer promising tax cuts for working people. Talking to sixth form politics students on the Telegraph's Choppers Politics podcast, he said he would fight the next election on the economy. But that's where politicians always fight, on the economy. But when talking about tax cuts, it was when the economic circumstances allow for them. And he's talking about economic growth as well. But as far as I'm concerned, he's not going to achieve any of that if he continues down our now decades-long neglect of our energy security. Now, when he talks about tax cuts for working people, does he also include those that have worked hard and earned a lot of money? Even a high-level public sector manager on $200,000 a year is a worker. I would even go as far as to say that even a government minister fits the definition of worker. Or is Starmer talking more about taxing the wealthier to redistribute it to the poorer? And all I hear from the more vocal Labour MPs is talk about windfall taxes and wealth taxes. As far as Labour are concerned, anyone with money, except themselves of course, did not earn it, and so it must belong to the state. So it looks like Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt really are paving the way for a new Labour government then. But at least Starmer told the students that he would not be looking for closer alignment with the EU and was not in favour of any Swiss-type deal either. And there would be no deal with the SNP if there was a hung parliament. So once again we see the reality behind the facade of our friends and partners in the European Union, and more proof that the UK needs to be more self-reliant. And this time it also affects our NATO relationships, while a war rages inside Europe. The Belgian government currently ruled by a thin green coalition, has blocked the sale of a specialist press to the UK. This isostatic press, made by EPSI in Antwerp, is able to compact nuclear waste in such a way that it makes it much easier to store. And this press is used as part of the UK nuclear warhead programme at the Atomic Weapons Establishment in Aldermaston. Now, as you will be aware, Belgium is a member of NATO and therefore benefits from the nuclear umbrella that it provides, or more accurately, that the US and the UK provide, with the French nuclear deterrent not being officially assigned to NATO. But the Greens are against nuclear weapons and the arms trade, and it's very unclear how they think they'll be defending themselves without NATO. Unicorns and fairy dust, no doubt. Anyway, the Belgians are now worried that the UK might cancel a deal to buy €600 million worth of FN machine guns from them. But why would that happen? Surely the Belgian Greens are banning the production and export of all weapons of war. Now, this affair has sparked fierce debate amongst Belgian politicians, especially as it is a classified secret, but somehow got out into their press, with many saying this is a stupid decision, and it could bring the coalition down. But it won't stop the UK's 24/7 continuous at sea deterrent. And now we come on to the New York Times 58%. Take it away, Richard.
Thank you, Jeff, and good morning. It now looks like the cognitively departed President of the United States was lying about the pandemic of the unrumpty-tumty-tummed. According to the Washington Post, as of now, 58% of those shuffling off this mortal coil because of the cough have had at least one dose of the elixir of eternal life. That's up from 23% in September 2021. Yet disease expert Anthony Fauci has urged Americans to get the new McRooster booster, which is an excellent idea if you like playing a harp in the clouds. Now then, I don't know about you, but I have not had one single vial of the elixir of eternal life, seeing as, like many of you, I quite like breathing, even though it is perfectly safe, of course. And with excess funerals continuing to rise, I am left wondering at what point will our media finally state the obvious and begin to attribute blame correctly. I fear that in a few months' time it will be impossible for the elephant in the room to hide behind the coat hanger, and I believe this article in the Washington Post will be the first in what will eventually become an avalanche of such news reports, and it's no wonder Mr. Fauci is retiring in December. I am sure he will be hiding in the not-too-distant future. Meanwhile, the international community is setting up McRooster booster passports for all those that comply with any future mandates, in order to allow them free and easy travel. But for those that don't comply, it will be a case of stay at home and play with your puddings. It is at times like this, with such nightmare scenarios on the horizon, that we need political change and democratic representation as the globalist agenda enters its endgame. So please, Mr. Tice, Mr. Farage and Mr. Fox, pull together and get things moving fast. Back over to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Richard. And finally, when subscribing, please don't forget to press that little bell and also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. And thank you all so much for taking the time to watch the show.